Hello and welcome to the Learn to Wargame audio podcast. This is episode 3. I am Brandon, also known as PG Mutilus on the forums, and this month I'm playing Khador.
This is Max. I lurk on the forums, and I play Crix.
This is Andrew. I go by Garthakian on the forums, and I play Circle currently.
This is Jeremy. I go by Lord Fool on the forums, and I play Protectorate.
Alright, and this week we're going to be doing a theme episode based on making a list to pair with the Baldur 2 theme force. This week our guest host is Andrew Brown, and he will be introducing us to his Baldur 2 list.
Yeah, so here's my Baldur 2 list. It's Baldur 2, Megalith, Wold Guardian times 2, 3 Wold Watchers, 2 Gallows Groves, 2 units of stones, 1 with the Stonekeeper, and a unit of Druids of Orboros.
Alright. Yeah, since it's the theme force, obviously it's pretty standard. There's a couple variations you see, but for the most part, that's it. Alright, so first thing we're going to do today is we're going to go through the common matchups you'd see at a tournament as far as we perceive it, and we're going to rate them good, bad, or playable matchups. And then we'll all chime in here and give our 2 cents usually on each pairing. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Let's start with Haley 2 from Signar.
Haley 2.
I think this is generally probably a good matchup for you because Signar has trouble dealing with the super high armor.
Yeah, I think this one I can probably take on scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Because
well, I don't know if you'll win on scenario, but you won't lose on scenario, which is very important against Haley.
Yeah, so I can, if I'm not going to win on scenario, I can at least probably attrition it out then. So, yeah, I would say it's good.
What do you think, Max?
Seems fine. Can't place models. Helps against deep. It'd probably be a good matchup. Stormwall's about the only thing can match up.
Mm-hmm. All right. I guess moving on then. Good matchup there. Let's go to Kane 2.
Kane 2. Kane 2, that might be playable if I'm careful with Baldur where I put him.
I think having the Flesh of Clay Animus in the faction, or specifically being able to put that on your caster, makes it really hard for you to die.
That's true. I always kind of forget about that Flesh to Clay.
If you root yourself and Flesh to Clay, you're basically not going to die.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good matchup.
Yeah, arm 20, 1 less die of damage. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. All right, good matchup there. Moving on, Striker 2.
Striker 2, I'm going to put this one playable. I think Striker alone can take care of certain pieces that he needs to, even with my armor buffs, because he can just come out of left field hitting home runs.
Or you can just kill your caster.
That too. Yeah.
I think that's
you can't get armor high enough to play against Striker 2.
Right. I think that's why this is only playable, is because Striker can always just kill you. All right, but I do agree. I think Signar is basically your goal faction when you drop Baldur 2.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to Menoth, we have Harbinger of Menoth.
Harbinger.
So you're probably going to see Errant's Choir, couple heavies.
Yeah.
Probably Zealots, maybe Battle Engine.
That one might be bad, actually.
I think
you don't think so?
I think it's definitely playable. What do you think, Max?
I don't think she does. Has a whole hell of an easy time killing anything in your list, except for if she's running Bastions, basically. Because I don't think Errants will do that much in melee. I mean, they're dice minus a lot. Even as Weapon Masters, a couple damage isn't a big deal here and there. Also a faction that doesn't deal well with rough ground, so the forests you can make and things like that.
With the Watchers.
Serious problems.
I guess they really don't have a lot of mobility fixers.
I think this is, once again, a good matchup for you. I'm not saying that it's not necessarily the great, but I think it's just borderline noticeably in your favor. Any thoughts, Jeremy? You gonna let us know if you disagree?
I think that's what he's waiting for.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, Krios 1.
Krios 1. I think that's good because those you can't knock down anything I put roots on. You can't knock down a Wold Guardian.
And that's most of what you do to your army. So
yeah.
That negates what his feat wants to do on his feat turn.
Yeah.
For the most part, I think this is just you have to be smart with your caster because once again, it's if they have the ability to kill you, but you have the ability to prevent it, so you need to be conscious of that.
And timing the feat right too, so that everything has the roots on it.
When he wants to, then it's just possible.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to Fiora 2. Most likely going to see 3 or 4 heavy or jacks, and most likely colossal.
Yeah, that's probably.
She also has a damage buff.
That's probably bad.
Yeah.
I generally agree. It's probably playable side of bad, but I still think it's probably bad. Because I don't know if you can actually kill Adjudicator in less than 2 turns.
One of the biggest reasons why we're together list.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright, moving on. Lich 2.
Lich 2 is bad.
Bad.
Yeah.
All right, we'll just leave that bad. Denny 1.
Don't forget when you go Lich 2 that they still don't have a lot of access to Pathfinder, and you can really screw with them with shit like that.
That's true.
Rock wall stuff, but the ghostly on the Bane Knights
That's
is
the
usually
only
what's gonna
unit.
get you. So you have
Bane
to.
Knights are dice minus a lot on.
I don't
your
disagree
front
there.
line.
I don't disagree.
That doesn't mean he doesn't have Parasite. Parasite costs a lot. So I don't think it's the worst matchup. I don't think it's Lich's best matchup. I do think Lich is probably a head matchup, but I don't think it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think this is worst possible matchup by far. But because he actually has to devote. Normally, Crix guys trivially remove heavies. They actually have to try to kill your heads, but they mostly still can. I do think it's still bad, though. Denny 1.
I'm going to call that bad, too.
I think it really depends on what kind of Denny 1 list you see, because she can play
If it's the shooting list, then I don't think it's a problem at all. If it's her trying to spam things that already hit hard and making them hit harder, then yeah, it's a problem.
So I'll put this in playable, but it's basically, depending on the list, it's either good or bad. There's no in between, but we'll put playable because it 100% depends on their build.
Yeah.
All right, Scar 1.
Scar 1. I don't know, what would you normally see in a Scar 1 list?
One of the scary variants for you would be the 30 Bane Knight variant. You see 3 10 units of Bane Knights and the feet plus 5 strength, so they're pitting at POW 16.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's obviously bad. Other Scar 1s, you see like lots of Mechanothralls, Blood Gorge stuff. What do you think, Max?
I think that's a bad matchup. Yeah. Because even none of his stuff is high defense. So even Mechanothralls without the strength or POW 15s, 3 dice is going to do damage to everything you have.
Yeah.
And then on the feet turn,
yeah, because it was that
you're
POW
talking
20s.
You're talking about 2 points worth of models just removing heavies.
Yeah. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, bad. I think she's probably worse than Lich.
Probably.
Butcher 3.
And she doesn't even need Dark Guidance.
Butcher 3. Haven't had
I think that's a bad matchup, Butcher 3.
I haven't had an opportunity really.
Yeah, I don't think Pikeman, because the problem is he does nothing for his faction other than grievous wounds, which big deal. You can't heal your stuff anyway, other than maybe
Calder can.
Yeah, well, that's true. You can heal a couple points. It's not like troll healing; it's like mitigated healing. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But
and Crevasse is really good. I think against pods of Crevasse is probably pretty good against pods of Shield Welling.
Yeah.
Iron Fangs, which is pretty much how you see him played. Though I don't really have a very good opinion of it because I haven't seen Butcher 3 enough.
Yeah, I really haven't either. But from what it sounds like it'd probably be good.
Yeah, I think it's probably not bad because POW 13s just won't kill your beast anytime soon.
Yeah.
And you can just eventually grind through it as long as you don't get jammed out of the scenario zone.
Yeah.
Sorsha 2.
That's bad.
I think it's probably going to be your worst matchup in Cable.
Yeah, that feat is going to...
Specifically because you almost always see a Conquest, and a Conquest kill anything in your list trivially with feet. So if he can actually get to 2 heavies, then it's just terrible.
Yeah.
And the rest of it is super high defense troops, which you also have trouble with.
Right.
Irusk 1. Basically an infantry spam with an okay damage buff. Basically makes them Weapon Master.
Free win?
You think no?
It's not a free win, but it's not that bad of a...
It's not what I'd probably put in playable, because if he's got an infantry spam, I don't generate a lot of attacks. So he might be able, with a decent damage buff, to chip away at me quicker than I can kill off enough stuff to make it matter.
In the end, what matters, the biggest deal is that Irusk doesn't have great stats. As far as defensively, I don't know.
I think this mainly comes down to what scenario you end up playing. If it's a flag scenario, I think it becomes a problem because you won't be able to get to the flags before it's too late to contest them without placing, like using your stones, just drop something in.
Yeah.
And you can probably get rid of one thing a turn because he can double Battle Lust, full charges. He usually will get a lot to you. So.
Yeah.
And he has superiority, so his jacks are fast and always hit. All right, so I put that in the playable matchup.
Yeah, that's
it really just ends.
Yeah.
Gordon. Definitely going to see an Earthbreaker. He has a spell of +4 strength, but having said that, the rest of his list usually does not break armor.
I'm going to call him playable if I can play around that combo there with the Earthbreaker.
The Roots of Earth kind of screws his feet, which kind of puts him into the not-so-happy area.
That's why, if you can, you just always can use your feet when you think his feet's going to be most effective, and then it just completely ruins his turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Normally, I would think this would be any other, seeing certain things on their side to board would be bad, but moving on to Bart, I think this is actually a great matchup for you.
Yeah, Flesh to Clay.
Yeah, he just can't hurt anything that he actually needs to remove.
Yeah.
And he can't pull anything in with the trident.
Mm-hmm. Right, so that's going to good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Moving on to Hordes, going with Legion first, we have Veil 2.
Veil 2. Haven't played against Veil 2.
Veil is, her feat lets her cast all of her spells once for free. She has Purification, so she'll get rid of Animai and Upkeep spells, but she won't get rid of Roots.
Okay.
She also won't affect your feat turn. She has basically every movement ability in the game. She's got Perdition, Refuge, She has Obliterate. Usually one of the scary things late game, she'll just cast like 2 or 3 Obliterates on you, kill your caster. I don't think this is bad because they typically have problems breaking armor.
Yeah, it doesn't sound bad.
You'll see usually 6 heavies.
Sounds playable. Like that one sounds like depends on the heavies they take. You know,
I don't even know if it does. I mean, Veils, I guess
You'll probably see 2 angels.
the angels are a problem, but they're a problem for 1 hit.
yeah. When we actually,
And they're not even the worst problem because of how much you're actually adding through spells. Right. So having and then adding, really not, it's pretty even dice.
We talked about that actually last night after I played a game against Tyler's Legion. How if he tried to put an angel into a World Watcher that was stone formed in roots, it's still...
Even after everything, it's like dice 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a 4 point.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to put that in a good matchup for you.
Yeah.
Moving on to Saren. You know Saren.
Saren.
Her feat turn is her battle can't be targeted by melee attacks.
Oh, yeah, that could be bad.
But it's still the same thing as Veil. Can she actually kill you?
Yeah, I guess when you talk about it, in most Legion, I think, is going to be at least playable. Most of it. I can't think of anything out there that they... Except for, was it Thagrosh with the Scythians that can easily handle...
Is it Veil 1 with Angel Spam?
Veil 1 with Angel Spam could be pretty annoying. 6 angels.
6 angels.
Okay, yeah,
you
that
can't
would be,
deal with
yeah,
it.
that would
just
be
because you couldn't kill them fast enough.
Yeah.
They would just kill a heavy a turn. Because even at dice off 2 boosting, you do like 9 per 1. Like 3 or 4 of them kill a heavy eventually.
Right.
Although with Saren, you're probably going to see like 2 Scythians, 2 angels, Ravagore, maybe a couple lights, something like that. I think it's at least playable. I don't know if it's necessarily good, but it's definitely at least playable. I can't see any worse than that. Anyone else feel differently?
I think playable sounds about right, yeah.
Alright, moving on to Thagrosh 1.
Thagrosh 1. I think this one could be bad.
Thagrosh 1 can hit kind of hard.
So it's either playable, like low-end playable, or somewhere around there.
What do you think, Max?
Oh, the War Spears are probably good against you, but... They're not that hard to deal with.
Yeah. The problem is for his list, he doesn't do a lot of extended threat. Like pretty much everything he's got in melee, other than maybe full spell guns. So it's hard for him to actually gun them down before they just charge in.
Mm-hmm.
He'll probably take 1 or 2 heavies off the board, if not all the lights in 1 heavy. But I don't know. I guess with Thagrosh 1's aura, he drops your POW by 2. Then spiny growth on everybody.
Living.
It's
enemy
models.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
It's just enemy models, I'm pretty sure.
Accurate.
So yeah, he'll drop your POW, so basically all of his beasts will be at least arm 20, with either spiny growth or tenacity. You're looking at 21, so you're being dice off 5. It's really just how quickly you can kill his dudes if he brings his caster up. Because if he brings his caster up, you have to be able to kill him, or else I think he'll wreck you. So I think it'll be on how well he protects caster. But I'll put playable, I think. I think that's a reasonable matchup.
Okay.
It's actually probably more in his favor than yours, but I think it's still
Yeah, that's what I said, like low end of playable for me.
I wasn't thinking about the feat till just a sec there. Kind of changed my mind a little bit. All right, so Morvana 2. Sir.
I'm playing against myself now. All right, Morvana 2. From what I've seen, I would say that's going to be at least playable for me. She takes mostly troops because that's what her feat functions off of. Even with the ability to cut for rerolls and all that stuff, I don't think she takes anything that hits hard enough. Except for maybe a stalker. Commonly
you'll see 1, maybe 2 stalkers sitting in the back with a Gorax. I think you should play 2 because you need to be able to kill heavies. People like hers, they're drop. Yeah, I don't see her killing enough of your stuff in any kind of timely manner. Yeah. It'll probably be a super grind fest and no one will really win the game. If anything, you might get a scenario victory because you just have to threaten the stalkers with like the knockdown guardians or like strength of granite, or not strength of granite, but weight of stone. Yeah. Weight of stone, because you can actually kill her heavies pretty easily if they get into you.
Yeah, if I'd get a weight of stone on a stalker, it drops to defense 11 and then...
I think we call this playable. Even though if it played to resolution every time, I think you would probably win the majority. But
they don't always.
I think one of you is going to clock. I think is the problem. So it's really going to be how proficient you both are at playing your list on who gets the advantage on clock. Moving on, Kruger 2.
Kruger 2. Well, let's see. He can't.
Good.
I think it's good. He can't TK me.
Can't TK, and the feat does mostly nothing. Yeah. I agree. Good matchup. Chromac.
This one might be bad.
I think this is your worst matchup in Circle.
Yeah.
I don't know if bad.
You don't think it's bad?
I don't know if it's bad. I'm still thinking about it.
Because he has we'll find out here in a little bit. Mm-hmm. He has the ability to really yo-yo his beasts even after hitting hard.
Right.
So they come in, hit me, they can be like, POW 20 stalkers.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just, sprint back and then maybe
Sprint
even.
requires killing a model.
That's true.
Now, you could walk up, kill a stone, and then buy a bunch of attacks on beasts.
Yeah. And then there's also warpathing stuff around.
Yeah. Which also requires killing.
Yes. Yeah. But I mean, once you kill one model, now you're triggering sprint and warpath. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it could be bad.
Mm-hmm. I think if you catch any of his beasts, is there anything you can do that prevents from backing up? Like, trolls have the night troll technique to prevent people, like, backing up. Like, you put a lure on one of your guys, and they're like, oh, sweet, like, you can't leave. Like, oh.
No, Baldur, like, this list doesn't really have anything, or doesn't have anything that will prevent someone from just yo-yoing in and out.
You're also talking about a list with 35 points worth of beasts, so I don't know that it's also, like, obviously if we're talking about somebody that's good, it's different, but yet again, it's a situation where the only thing that's semi-hard for you to kill is Getrix, because he'll be in that list. And everything else, if you get a hold of it, will die.
Yeah, the only thing that saves the stalkers is their defense, because the stones don't really have that grade of mats. I mean, you're looking at mat 6 on Wolf Guardians.
But every heavy...
But you boost to hit.
You have
knock it
4
down.
models in your list. If you hit, the model basically dies. Because
Baldur,
-3 defense and speed, and or you're knocked down.
Yeah, hitting them with weight of stone does mess with their ability to sprint. So
I agree, it's probably the worst matchup that you would actually see. I don't know that it's actually the worst matchup in Circle, but probably the worst one you'd actually see from Circle, but I don't think it's actually like a huge disadvantage for you.
So you're
I
saying
think
it's playable?
I agree, playable. Jared, what do you think?
I disagree.
What do you think?
I don't care.
Okay. Noted that Jeremy disagrees.
There needs to be a separate, like, Jeremy column?
That's true.
Or it's just silent.
Disagree. I can put a little note, Jeremy disagrees. All right, moving on to Trolls.
Wait, I can just pre-record everything.
Grim 2.
Grim 2. Oh, Grim 2 I think is probably playable. Again, with armor and flesh to clay.
I'd say good.
I think it's good as well.
I guess I'm underestimating myself.
Well, you gotta remember, guns, for the most part, aren't boostable, with the exception to a battle group. They're limited to how many beasts
he's got, like,
based on how many
blitzers and bombers.
Right, so trolls can put a large amount of boostable guns on the table, but it really comes down to, can he kill you? Because once he gets into melee, he's worse. That's the concept of a ranged piece.
Right.
It's worse in melee. So when you finally close to him, are you still going to have anything left that can kill armor 18 heavies? Like, I think you will. I don't think he can. He's not going to shoot 3 heavies off the table with Roots of Earth and Flesh to Clay. Like, Megalith doesn't have Flesh to Clay, but, sorry, he's still Megalith.
Yeah, he auto-heals a D3 a turn.
Yeah, I don't think, if they focused everything on killing Megalith, they might kill Megalith where he gets there. I don't think they can even kill the World Guardians.
Yeah,
and you can live without Megalith. If Megalith dies on turn 4, wham.
Yeah.
It's pretty much too late at that point.
Yeah, I just have to be a little more careful with, like, the Dragon Souls, because I don't get the auto-heal anymore on Baldur, and, I lose a Geomancy. I can still Roots 3 times if I need to.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mortality would be annoying, but I think you win that matchup.
And his feet doesn't scare me at all.
Right.
Because everything already hits you.
Oh
yes,
no,
exactly.
my defense 5 goes down to 3.
9. Mm-hmm. Defense 9 on World Guardian, thank you.
I was counting Watchers.
Oh. Fine.
Nope. All right, moving on. Doomshaper 1, considering the Runes of War tier list as automatic.
This is probably bad.
I think it's probably bad because Mold kills things.
Yeah, and I can deal with rock walls, although my lack of reach in that army actually makes rock walls actually not dealable.
Think you can.
I can't. Yeah, never mind.
I don't think you have anything that kills Mulg, and Mulg kills everything in your list.
Yeah. Mulg might even be able to kill 2 heavies a turn. Because he'll be at positive dice against your beasts.
Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, that is bad for sure.
So bad.
Yep.
Moving on, Madrak 2.
Madrak 2. I have not seen a Madrak 2 list.
Madrak 2 has a spell called Blood Fury. It gives its unit/model -2 defense and an additional die on melee damage.
Additional die?
Yes. So it's basically Battle Lust, but he can transfer it around people. With a Rune Berry, you can basically put it on 3 different units in one turn.
This sounds bad.
And lately, you've seen him with multiple units of Warders, which your beast would actually have trouble chewing through, I think, because you're like POW 15, 16, maybe 17.
16.
Actually, if you drop you don't run any of the Wold where are those things?
The Wold Wardens.
Wardens, Wardens are awful in melee. So at least you run hitting heavies. So.
Yeah, Megalith is POW 16s with weight of stone, and then the Guardians are 17s with auto knockback.
Madrak's feat is every friendly model in his control area either makes a melee attack against every enemy in his melee range, or or an additional ranged attack.
Yeah, it just sounds bad. Like, so, and
I think it's not good. I don't know how quickly he kills you. I think the real problem comes down to you just can't kill enough things.
Yeah.
He will eventually win on attrition because you just will run out of models before he will. I don't think it's because he necessarily directly counters you. It's just that he has too many guys, which is kind of the problem of your list is your number of attacks.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put that in bad.
It's low.
Moving on to Scorn, Hexeris 2.
Scorn, I know probably the least about, really, even though they're effects I'm interested in playing.
You own the Scorn models.
I own like
Hexeris 2
5
is generally
models.
not a hard-hitting list. That's probably a fine one. None of his spell play does really anything to you.
He has a defense buff that only works against living models.
Okay, I'm fine against that.
Fine against that.
Yeah.
He has Ashes to Ashes, POW 10s.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that.
Black Spot, -2 defense, and if he kills a model, he gets to make an additional attack.
Still good with that.
Yeah, that's not that. Against a lot of people, that's scary. It's not that scary. I agree. I think it's a good matchup.
Yeah.
Zol, probably a different story. He has one of the most unique spells in the game.
That's basically the same situation as Madrak 2 we were just talking about, in my opinion.
Just can't chew through it.
You'll chew through the guys, but the guys do an inordinate amount of damage, especially on the feet turn.
Yeah, the spell I was talking about, Last Stand, is the target model/unit, when it makes a melee attack, gets an additional die to hit and damage. At the end of the turn, if a model made a melee attack, it's removed.
That's right, yeah.
And his feat is where he gets the rage tokens, is that right?
He gets rage tokens for everything you've killed in his army, and then he can spend them to buy attacks or anything on any model in his army.
It's like Butcher's Feet rage tokens.
Yeah, it sounds like a bad matchup for me.
I agree. I think it is bad. Xerxes, probably worse.
Xerxes is probably even worse. That Xerxes hits like a truck. I know that for a fact.
Basically, Butcher and Scorn.
Yeah.
Rask.
Rask
has Fury as a spell, and he has Boundless Charge, so he can get over walls and
I
stuff.
still think I'm okay with it, though.
His feat is you cannot target a model that you're not within 5 inches of, basically. You can't target it with a charge, you can't shoot it, you can't draw line of sight to it. It doesn't block No, I think you can actually draw line of sight to them. It just, you can't target them.
I think that, yeah, sure, that's gonna probably set me back a turn.
Well, but you have stones. You can just port your guy next to his dude. You're like, hey, look, we're coincidentally in melee when I start my activation. Like, oh, well, that doesn't matter.
I think that still sounds good.
You'll be looking at pretty much guaranteed 3 units of Gators. He'll be swapping Fury around on them, so they'll be looking at POW 16s. Even with charges, you're doing 27? Doing like 4 points on a charge attack? That's probably not going to kill enough stuff.
Yeah.
I think you eventually grind that one out.
Yeah. That sounds alright.
What do you think, Max?
Probably. Yeah.
You sound convinced.
Not necessarily convinced, but...
Moving on to Maylock.
Maylock
is the undead Gator guy.
Good.
He instead of hitting as hard, his guys have higher armor and are not living.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, we're going to put that.
Yeah, we'll go with that, yeah.
All right, that was minions. We've yet to have a bad minions matchup, just saying. Not saying anything in particular, I'm just saying.
Because we underestimate minions.
Exactly. That's what we go. That's what we strive for. Okay, so looking back at this, obviously Crix was just bad.
Yeah.
You had this huge swath of badness right around the end of Menoth to start of all of Crix, and then, yeah. That you pretty much kept a good streak going, though, until we got back to Trolls and Scorn. Okay, so I see 8 we marked as bad matchups. We've got Fiora 2, Lich, Denny, Scar, and then Xerxes, Zol, Madrak 2, and Doomshaper 1. Alright. Okay. So, next segment, we will be talking about what we built our list to do, and why we think they counter those.
Excellent.
Alright, so now we're going to talk about the lists we have made prior to this that we think might help with your matchups. I guess I'll go first. The list I made was for Kruger 1. Mainly I wanted to focus on countering the Crix matchup. So my list, Kruger 1, battle group including Warpwolf Stalker, Warpwolf Feral, a Gorax, 2 Gallows Groves, a Black-clad Wayfarer, 2 Reeve Hunters, Shifting Stones full and Shifting Stones full with UA, and a unit of Druids of Orboros with the Overseer. So the point of my list was basically to throw Lightning Tendrils on a Feral and have 3 initials with Electroleap with Reach. Sound good? Mm-hmm. The Black-clad also gives you some utility for extra charge range, so he can get in there pretty deep, and then you put the Sprint Amos on from the Stalker, he can kill like an entire unit of dudes and back up. And then combined with Kruger's natural infantry removal abilities, he should pretty much be able to play against Crix with just these 2 things. And then the 2 Stalkers and the Gorax are designed to help counter the Beast Bricks, like the the Xerxes maybe, and the Doom Shaper, and Fiora as well. The Reeve Hunters, I was just thinking it would actually be pretty good infantry hate. I know they're kind of easy to kill, but if you play it right, I think you'll be fine. Because you can keep most melee infantry away from them with Krieger's abilities.
Yeah, true.
That's my 2 cents. What did you get, Max?
My list was Kaya the Moon Hunter, Circle Epic Warlock, with a Druid Wilder, Laris, her companion.
Yep.
Warpwolf Stalker, Gorax, Getrix.
All right.
Blackclad Wayfarer, for Hunter's Mark and Spray. Hunter's Mark gives you the extra 2 inches, plus Dogpile gives you another 2 inches, so you get decent distances at that point. 1 Gallows Grove, because she needs help getting Dogpile out, other than Laris, I think. 1 unit of Shifting Stones with the Stonekeeper, and 2 units of Druid Stone Wards with the World Stalkers.
Yeah, I wonder, I haven't looked at that. Is that, that doesn't carry over from the first unit to the second unit, the concentrated fight, isn't it? Okay, yeah. I think so. That would seem pretty...
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
That would be pretty good.
I do
that's infantry removal, in my opinion, and still has the ability against certain things to do damage, because it's still a POW 12 gun, and gets up to POW 17 if you're hitting it all, so they can do damage in certain situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have an aiming 13-inch threat, which is pretty good.
Yeah, aim and Zephyr.
Yeah, I definitely like the Stalkers. They're a nice little unit. So, I think this would be your worst matchup in Circle.
I'm playing
I
against.
take everything back.
That's what I was talking about.
I agree with Max. Yeah.
Because Kaya non-frenzies those to 20. And then it makes them defense 16, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I like it against trolls, because you can, if you need to, you primal, and then you send a POW 22 Stalker in, and I think he's mulching every troll around him.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
And then you teleport him right next to your guys so you can frenzy on them.
Yeah.
No, wait, you wouldn't do that, right?
That's what the Wold Stalkers are there for. Frenzy bait.
Random stone guy. Dead. All right.
No, you never primal on the feat turn. You go in with POW 20 and know it does enough.
Yeah.
Agreed. Andrew, what did you bring?
All right. I've got Chromac the Ravenous.
Dumb.
Why is that dumb? I don't like
Brandon's
you
an
anymore.
asshole.
I know.
Druid Wilder, Getrix, 2 Warpwolf Stalkers, a Gorax, and a Riphorn Satyr. And then for the rest, there's a Blackclad Wayfarer, the Gallows Grove, 2 units of stones, 1 with the UA.
Thought we were making lists with models that were out.
Oh, you hurt me with that. Riphorn.
Oh, the Riphorn. It will actually,
That's so
with
sad.
it'll be out in 2 or 3 weeks.
I hope so.
Until there's another problem.
Oh, God. It's going to be like the unnameable game all over again, where it's like...
His horns won't come out of the mold. You're going to do it all over again.
You remember when drop pods weren't released for 10 years after there was rules
The
allowed?
Tyranid drop pod is actually the most notorious.
Yeah.
And after this podcast, we'll be going to the store to get the new rulebook.
Yeah. Nope. Yeah.
And Max, you're out.
3520.
Yeah.
So
We had to edit 3520.
you don't have to edit that out.
Maybe. Where are you, a GW fanboy?
Oh, edit that.
Whoa,
edit that
whoa,
stuff
whoa.
out.
All this is
Okay.
getting left in. We're
Edit.
doing it live.
Uh,
All right. So what do you think were the good points of this list? Because I don't see any of them.
well,
It's fine. Everything we talked about in the anti-matchup for you is why it's good. I mean, Warpath is good.
yeah.
Even if you don't need to out-threat, you charge in, you sprint back, then you Warpath back another 3, and there's no way they're getting to him.
Right. And then the Riphorn, what I thought about with him is his animus with the bulldoze. If you have to get to something that's buried a bit, you want to get through to it, he can. Or you can put that on a stalker.
I thought that's what stones were for.
Well, stones are for,
Stones are limited distance. Too.
limited 8 inches, whereas, if you bulldoze,
Well,
pretty
it's
much
really 10. It's a
10 and then reach
okay,
is
yeah,
12.
It's a legitimate 10-inch
it's a
place.
cheaty 8.
As opposed to an unlegitimate 8-inch
We
place.
call it the cheaty 8.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. So that's what I liked about the Riphorn. Plus, it kind of helps a little bit more with, Fury management because he can charge, without spending, without being forced. Although stones are good for that too.
Kaya just does that.
Kaya just does that. Sorry.
It would be interesting to see how far you could actually send a beast. If you got like a feral that can warp for speed, he's 6, warp for speed to an 8, bounding him to a 10, hunters mark him to a 12. What is this not stacked?
Doesn't have bounding.
No, if you put the gnarl horns animus, like if you just went for absolute max start
He
range.
has Riphorn, though.
Right, I'm talking about Kaya.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
You
if you
did
put
it
a-
in Kaya, you put the...
The gnarl horn in there?
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, what would be the maximum threat range of any beast? I think the Stalker goes the farthest just because he warps for speed.
Yeah.
No, yeah, the Pharaoh, you mean.
Yeah, the Pharaoh.
Pharaoh.
Sorry.
And he gains Pathfinder, which is the worst thing that he doesn't do. If you put bounding on, it's like 17.5.
That's a long way.
In a straight line, though.
Yeah.
That's a long way.
That is a
And
very...
especially on her feature when they can force out of control.
Yeah.
You might even do that. You could charge people on bottom of 1. Like, like that's serious threat range.
That's, yeah. I'm
Nobody
liking-
would see that coming
No.
unless they played you before.
Gotcha.
Yeah, gotcha. Good job. All right.
Yeah, that's what I...
Yeah, I actually regretted making a Kruger 1 list after I remember. It's like, what is Circle's Quickstrop? And then it just popped in my head after I made my list. Oh, yeah, it's Chromac. Everyone plays Chromac versus
Yeah,
Kruger. I was like, I should make a Chromac
It's
list.
the yo-yo in and
It's
out.
called Bestial.
I know.
Yeah.
Bestial for 3, Alex.
How do you beat Crix? All right. Jeremy, what did you bring?
I also selected Epic Kaya.
Nice.
Yeah.
High fives.
I'm getting a timestamp here to edit this whole list out. Hold on. Go ahead,
All right,
Jeremy.
go ahead.
Oh, what? No, we'll just skip it.
No, go ahead,
No,
Jeremy.
we're done.
What do you got?
Moving on.
I just want to know what you got.
Well, fine. I also had the Druid Wilder, Feral Warple, Warple Stalker, Getrix, a unit of Wolves of Orboros, a unit of Warpborn Skinwalkers. They both have the UA, and 2 Warwolves.
I really thought about putting wolves in my list, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it because Andrew would have to buy those mods.
What, Wolves of Orboros?
Yeah.
I have a unit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got you.
Oh.
You mean the 4/6 reach unit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't understand why they're considered so awful.
They're
pretty
not-
much- They're almost as good as bog trogs. I mean, they're fine.
They're not. They're not good.
Yeah.
When you look at other options, circles
They do have power swell, which I do like a lot. They actually.
as a UA, yeah.
Yep.
Yep. All right, Andrew. What of the 4 lists did you think were the best specific points of each list?
Well, I really like where we were going with the Kaya 2
Super threat range.
super threat, but and then what does it get up to? A 20?
It gets up to 17.5 with
Oh,
the
7.
Feral
No. I mean the power on its
They
attacks.
can go to 22.
22.
And Getrix could go to 23.
Although if you're getting it to a 22, it's not going as far
Yeah.
because you're swapping animus stuff like
Well, actually, ferals are.
If you're getting
50
it to 22, it goes just as far. I mean, I don't have the speed boost animus. You're only talking 15-inch threat ranges, but that out threats pretty much everything
Yeah.
in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's still pretty far. So I like that. But and I also like Chromac. You know, just the yo-yo in
The-
and
the
out,
Warpath
the
trick
Warpath trick.
It's
Yeah.
tested and approved.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, there's bits of both. Like the Gnarl Horn, maybe try it either one, with Kaya 2 or even with Chromac.
I wonder. So let's focus more on our matchups.
Okay.
Which we've got, Fiora. Her jacks are speed 6 only because she has escort. Other than that, they'd be speed 4 pretty much. Maybe a Reckoner. Then Crix, which is commonly infantry, very heavy. And then, Doom Shaper, you're going to out-threat his beast. They're speed 5. He can rush them, but they're speed 5. Madrax, Sea of Infantry again. Zal, pretty much Sea of Infantry. And then Xerxes, you out-threat him too. It's like, I like that. I brought it up because I like that point that I think they might be able to send a heavy the farthest in the game. It might not be actually accurate, but can... Yeah, Malakard's a thing.
Yeah. The Maul.
I accept that, but you could repeatedly send things in that aren't just, here's my character heavy.
Well, I mean, you're talking about a perfect storm, though, because you're talking about getting the dog pile and then getting the hunter's mark. In all reality, you're looking more at, like, getting the dog pile, and then it's 13 inches. It's still further than most things, but in a certain situation where you really need to remove that colossal or something like that, I think you can get the hunter's mark and the dog pile. And she's anti-shooting. You have Shadow Pack.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I hear that's a good thing.
I agree.
Sometimes.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that doing that. I just wanted to let you know that that's a thing, because I don't know if you've ever experimented with that, because you play stones. So.
Right, yeah.
But I don't think it's necessarily good against things we're trying to target. But I do think it's a good point.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So what else?
Which caster do you think would be best at covering these specific matchups?
Boy.
I think this is actually a tough call. I think
Yeah.
we came up with 3 really good different varieties. Jeremy's and Max were basically the same thing.
Yeah, they're pretty similar.
pretty much.
They play the same, but specifically on the caster point, I don't honestly know if there's a correct answer here. I like Kruger because he just basically shuts down tricks, and as a KO player, they annoy me a lot.
Yeah. We played that matchup several times.
As being someone who likes to skew armor, I've been very sad at the hands of tricks all the time.
Yeah, you're right. It's tough between Chromac, probably, or Kaya, but it's between those two, I think.
Do you think so? You think Kruger's on table? I don't think he needs to be. I
think he's too one-sided against Crix. I don't think he deals with the armor options as well.
Not as well, no.
Yeah. So that's why I like. So now what I look at is if I'm looking between Chromac or Kaya, either one I think with the list we've made could handle an armor skew. It's the infantry spam part of it. Which one of these two could also potentially deal with infantry spam?
Okay.
And I really don't know. I'm kind of stuck on that one.
Okay, so looking at it, of the heavy situations, Fiora 2 is obviously a heavy spammer. Xerxes has potential to be just because his infantry is like basically a beast.
Right, yeah.
Doomshaper is basically a beast brick. Everything else is an infantry spam. So those three specific matchups, Runes of War is very popular, you're going to see it. Xerxes, not so much. The list that's almost as popular is just a bunch of Satrati. But if he does, you do see the like 4 heavy list, it's like you probably couldn't deal with it.
One of the matchups we don't even have is like a miserable meat mountain type of thing.
Exactly.
And I actually think Kaya can deal with that.
I
think that might be able to too. I think in the end that shuts down Crix easier, which means he might end up being the best play.
Chromac.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So based on that, I would probably pick the Chromac.
Okay. So let's start with the Chromac.
All right. Let me just set a new list here. Sorry, give me 1 second to do that.
I'm just going to edit that out.
Okay.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Andrew taps phone.
Yes. Tap, tap, tap. All right.
Thanks, Jeremy.
No problem.
So we've got Chromac.
Ketterix!
Yeah, Ketterix is duh.
I think it was in everyone's list.
I actually didn't take it, and as soon as you guys said Ketterix, I was like, God damn it.
And
What the hell did you do with 11 points?
I just assume characters are always
Did you have a
taken.
feral?
Oh.
no,
Don't.
it was
Yeah, you only want a feral if you play
I think you want
Kruger,
Getterix, Stalker.
that's what I had.
for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Getterix, Stalker,
Gorax.
and a Gorax. Yeah. So that's the
You gotta
foundation
have
for
at
the
least
beast.
a minimum 1 obligatory unit of stones with the...
Correct, with the UA. Yep. So you got unit of stones, shifting stones, and then attach Stonekeeper to it. So we still have 16 points.
I can
Play
tell you
with her.
that the standard I usually see is you see 2 units of World Stalkers. Not saying you need them, but that's 90% of the Chromac list I've seen.
That was pretty much my list, was Chromac with Epic Kaya.
With Epic Kaya.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting take on it because I don't see why she's not played, because it does straight up fix some matchups, because the Fiora list has no answer to stealth. It just means that she's got to walk her slow heavies at you.
It would beat the shit out of
Yes.
Signar, but we already thought about that they're pretty good.
Yeah, we already think
Your
Signar
list
is your
is pretty
best
good.
matchup of factions you can
Yeah, I
see.
think Baldur, I see Signar, Baldur 2's going down. That's pretty much.
I
Pretty
don't
much.
know. I feel like Kaya, but even Chromac, either one of them have a good assassination against almost anybody.
Yeah, because if push comes to shove, Chromac can do the leap.
The one big thing is that the Stalkers can really clear out models with Chromac because Wild Aggression is a thing. It's
Yes.
better than primaling to kill infantry.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Stalkers, Berserk, more for Berserk, and then they really do get in there and get some infantry out of there. So, I think, I would like to probably have I don't know, what do you think, a 4th heavy?
I like the 4th heavy. I don't think you should. I think that puts you into a spot where you have to be really damn good at that list to make it go against specifically the matchups we're talking about.
Okay.
Chromac shuts down spells.
He
He
can,
doesn't waste infantry.
You need more
Okay.
ways to get rid of dudes, especially when you're worried about tricks and trolls as your 2, or Scorn as your 3 drops at this point. It's like, if you see a Scorn Beast Brick, you'll be fine, but
Yeah.
there's too many bad matchups, I think, still for not being able to just clear infantry easily.
Okay. Well, we need to put a Blacklead Wayfarer in there then. He helps with threat range, or he can spray stuff out.
Spray isn't
He's
bad.
good.
So, yeah, let's put a Blackclad in there.
What does Circle have that trivially removes infantry other than casters?
Other than Kruger.
Other than Kruger.
The Lord of the Feast actually can clear out some infantry, although he has a 4-point solo, so he's kind of
His
pricey.
downside is he's bad against a lot of Cricks, because Cricks has this cool little skull on their card.
Oh, yes.
Symbolizes undead,
Yes, undead. That's true.
He can do stuff, but no corpses makes him not so happy.
Yeah, that makes him a sad
That's
panda.
kind of why I put in Skinwalkers with the UA.
Cause
They also have Blood Drinker, don't they? When they kill a living model. I mean, not that you need it necessarily.
They
but
get that from the
UA.
From the UA, yeah.
From the UA.
one of the problems is like one of the factions that removes multi-wound infantry yet better than anyone else is Cricks. I mean, you've really got to have a strong argument for them in the list, I think. I'm not saying they're bad at killing Crix guys, but Crix guys are good at killing them.
I see his point. It was on their double swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got
Right.
12 attacks out of that unit.
But they're still minimal threat range at being they
Yeah.
charge.
They
8.
cost the same as you buying 2 Wold Stalker units that shoots 10 times.
Yeah,
And then
That's
can
correct.
back up out of that range.
yeah, some Zephyr action. So let's
Yeah, because you're even talking, even with Tartarus, Bane Knights only go 12 inches. So, I mean, otherwise, you're talking Styxus, and they kill infantry, but they don't kill anything else. Except for on the mini feet turn.
Gotcha. So other stuff that can clear out lots of infantry. Other than Berserk Stalkers. Berserk Stalkers can do it too.
They can. Yeah, that's definitely where we're getting a lot of it from.
Um,
The combination of Bestial and that, it limits what your opponent can come back with when they can't cast spells. And,
Yeah.
and a lot of casters really need to cast the spells.
yeah,
Like, you only worry about your beast getting parasited when they can't parasite you.
right. So I guess actually, yeah, the Wold Stalkers aren't terrible for killing infantry even.
I think this list mostly builds itself.
Yeah.
There are variants. It's kind of like the Baldur list, but less restrictive. There's the last 15 points is pretty much your choice, but most people agree that it should be Stalkers and some more support.
So let's see, we can put 2 units of Stalkers in there.
Get a Druid Wilder.
No.
Free Animus is usually pretty good
That
for 2
is-
points.
Yeah, when you're going to be doing
Especially when
sprint
you hand out
every
the sprint.
turn. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, we need to put a Druid Wilder in there.
Especially
And that-
because, Gedrix can't sprint himself. He has to be sprinting before he goes.
Yeah,
Yeah, when you activate him and move up, and then you go, I don't have sprint, you just get really sad.
you just lost your Gedrix.
Yeah.
No, you cast Inviolable Resolve quickly and hope that he is engaged still. And Armor 21 is a thing.
It is a thing, yes.
It's not that bad.
So that leaves 2 points.
What do you got in there?
So right now, what we've got is Chromac, of course, with a Wilder, Gedrix, 2 Stalkers and a Gorax, 1 unit of stones with UA, and 2 units of Stone Ward and Wold Stalkers.
You could always use the second user of stones. I mean, honestly.
You could.
Second unit of stones is
also,
good.
I've seen Gallows Grows with him, so you can throw rifts at things to put some rough terrain out there. It's not needed, but it's just different.
True.
Option.
The other thing, might be interesting, against trolls.
One Gallows Groves and I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, interesting against trolls is the ability that they have that most people forget is the stripping tough off of anything within 3 inches of them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put that up against, you teleport it up to something you want to get rid of that turn, and then the beasts come in, or even the stalkers shoot stuff
It's
and
not
kill
worth
it.
Warders toughing repeatedly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always better to just guarantee them dead.
Yeah, and they just die.
One Gallows Grove would probably be good, and then your last point with Gobbers, so you can protect your stalkers and stealth on the way up. Is
Generate
probably a good
stealth.
idea.
Generate prowl.
Your other option could be, instead of the Stalkers, you could throw in some Druids. They give you a little bit more board control, but the combination of multiple magic denial abilities is kind of redundant, so you kind of waste it.
Yeah.
This Bestial should be enough. It's just,
Should be.
once again, different option. Make sure we talk about everything, so I don't know how versed you are in all the different possibilities. I
Yeah.
want to make sure we bring up every point.
Right. And I thought I had a point and forgot it. So, so yeah.
You want to hear my fun point? I realized that, Max, did you notice what we didn't talk about during our matchup list?
I noticed a lot of things we didn't talk about.
What did we not talk about?
What is your specific thought?
I'm curious if you, because
I think
there's a definitely hole.
There's a lot of I didn't pay attention to whole. There's a lot of matchups I think about that I think should be played more often than they are. That I think are bad matchups for lists. I think Makeda 2 is a problem. I think
I definitely agree.
I think Tubby with Chain Gang is actually a problem.
Totally agree. The problem with this list is I just try to do lists as if you line up 10 of players from a faction they're almost guaranteed to have one of these lists, if not multiples of them in their pairing.
Right.
So I tried to go with the things that you are guaranteed to see versus things, there's still the gotchas and other just good lists you have to be ready for. And I think if we went into every one, like the problem is the game's so balanced that we would be here for over an hour. Because
I noticed we didn't talk about Rhett at all. Yeah.
I was hoping our red player might notice that.
I don't actually play red. I just own it.
A lot of it. How many Griffins do you have?
I only have 7. I don't think I have. I have 5 Griffins. I have 7 Gorgons. So
there you go.
yeah, I picked that up in a steal of a deal.
And
I get them for $2
I own
a piece.
those. I own those, gentlemen.
I also don't know
Still in the box, though.
Still fucking proud of it too. Who else in the world can say they own 7 Gorgons?
Probably somebody, I'm sure.
Jay Larson.
Max, you're not
those are for sale, sir.
That's true.
So are mine. My email address is smaxzor@gmail.com. If you want to get some Gorgon action, let me know.
Cheaper than Venture Market.
Oh, slam. Also, we didn't talk about convergence, but I don't know if that's
so obvious.
I don't know if that's necessary.
Hey, guess what? We can say Mother Fire. Can you break armor? Oh, good job.
Yeah, I think it's...
Mother actually can because they have punctures.
No, I'm talking about breaking armor against convergence because every list you're going to see is either a shit ton of heavies or 2 colossals or a bunch of medium bases.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so we talked about...
The question is, do your 3 heavies kill 2 colossals?
2 colossals?
I think you do when you're stealthed because they don't see through stealth, do they?
No.
I'm talking about Chromac.
Right.
Why are they stealth?
They're stalkers. They work for prowl.
Yeah, if you throw the...
What about Getrix?
What about Getrix? He stands behind them. He can't get pulled. You're not going to shoot him down with invaluable resolve.
Maybe.
I mean, because I've seen 2... I've seen 2 stalkers 1 round of Conquest.
Yeah,
I've done that before, but I don't think in 1 round I could kill 2 Primaxiums. But
if you got all 3 there and one got to pick which one he attacked, it'd be close. The important thing is that 1 Primaxium does not kill 3 wolves. So next turn, you just kill the other one.
That's a good point.
Or more importantly, you just go kill Mother if it's possible. If it's a kill box scenario, it's about as easy. Anyway, yeah, so we could talk about... I need to add those into the list, but for right now, I think it's pretty much redundant because...
What about Sexion?
He's not legal model yet. I don't know what's going on. We can also...
He's got a Rampager. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So yeah, for those last 2...
you drop Baldur because your shit can't be moved, and you just laugh at him. Can't be placed or moved, and he's like... He goes back into baby mode.
So yeah, for those last 2 points, I just threw in the Swamp Gobber and a Gallows Grove.
A tree.
Yeah. Okay. So for the final list, if you want to read it one more time, or I will read it, you won't. It's I don't know what's happening with people's hands right now, but
I'm terrified. No one knows to do with their hands.
just put them down at your side. Just put them down. The list ran real good.
More cowbell?
This is a team effort. Literally a team effort.
Yeah. So I've got Chromac, Druid Wilder, Getrix, 2 Stalkers, a Gorax, Black-clad Wayfarer, Gallows Grove, unit of stones with UA, 2 units of Wold Stalkers, and a Swamp Gobber Bellows Crew.
That's a wrap. Looks like a list.
Looks pretty decent.
Do I get a chance to veto it so we can start over and make a Kruger list?
Well, we've made a Kruger list for infantry clearing that I really like.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Kruger too much, I guess.
Yeah.
Kruger's probably my favorite caster.
Well, he's a lot of fun to play, too. Just
in
watching.
Circle?
Yeah, my favorite.
Or just your favorite caster in general?
No, he's probably like the 8th favorite. If you just count favorite per faction. So Circle's my 8th favorite faction, basically.
Oh.
Everyone knows Karchev's the best caster in the game. It's been proven. He's undefeatable.
It just
at low points.
It ends the game.
Yeah, I mean,
the game's over. There's actually no reason we're still
I actually
playing
had
this.
to stop playing Karchev because he was undefeated.
I thought it was because he's terrible.
Yeah, he's terrible to play against because he's so good. All right,
It's true.
It is true.
Did you see the ejection pod?
The ejection pod for Karchev?
Yeah.
Who did that?
I don't know. Somebody random on the forum.
I need one.
Just when he swings backwards, he pops out and runs away.
That's funny.
That's why he never dies.
Yeah.
He doesn't
He's
have legs.
He doesn't have legs.
He's like crying the brain. It's like a little floating platform.
Well, they took like a little half jack and put a boiler on the back and...
Would it look like...
Just his
Oh,
head.
little like crab legs.
Yeah, if he like popped out, maybe it'd be like an Enigma Foundry, but with a face. Because that's kind of the same shape. It's like that triangle form thing.
I feel like he'd be one of the crab people from South Park.
All right. Moving on to the final question about our matchups. Do you think any of these bad matchups we're trying to cover will have a list chicken kind of scenario where you cover one of the specific matchups but not the others. So for instance, going to Menoth, we've got Harbinger and Krios are good for Balder. Are these particularly bad for Chromac? Because if it gets to that point and you're like, well, Chromac beats Fiora, but Harbinger, or let's say Krios beats Chromac. So now you're just at a coin flip again.
I think Chromac might still be able to do okay against Krios with the yo-yoing, going in, hitting stuff, and backing out. He has to move further forward than he would want to feet and knock my stuff down.
Can you actually protect Chromac from the pop and drop from Krios? Because he can move up feet, knock you down, and then shoot you like 1,000 times with boostable guns. Because you'll probably see like 2 Redeemers, which are going to be exactly. Epic Kaya fixes that problem. This specific one,
right?
Because stealth, I still miss you even if you're defense 5. So it gets to the point where he puts 2 focus on 2 Redeemers, which are shooting like POW 14 or 16 guns, 3 shots each. They're basically auto hitting you. A battle engine boosting a damage roll on you, and then like 2 Reckoners is like, and then maybe even some errant shots. Like, can you survive all that as Chromac? If you like, is there a way you can protect him?
I don't.
Because putting him behind your own guys won't stop it because you can see.
Right, because they get knocked down. Yeah. Max's look is a little concerning over there, but
do you feel that that would be a bad matchup? I think it
probably
would.
Because Krios doesn't have offensive spells. He's all defensive, so Bestial's not as
He
big a
has
deal.
2 offensive spells.
His spells are allocate
Does he
focus.
cast them?
yeah. So
No.
Okay. So Krios has all upkeeps that Chromac doesn't remove, so he pretty much does whatever he wants. Bestial's never going to be used
What
in
if
that game
he
plan.
uses Lamentation and walks up to you?
Lamentation of the suffering. Then you probably back up in Bestial,
probably.
And then he upkeeps Lamentation and walks forward another 2 inches?
and then it's just an upkeep fight because
But
that's all they
Bestial's
do.
not an upkeep, is it?
Yeah, it is.
It is. It's not an upkeep.
Well, let's
I
check.
thought it was like
I got
a
it.
4-cost spell.
I got it right here.
Cost, I think.
3 cost, not upkeepable.
Yeah, so
Ooh.
it turns into a 6-cost, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, Krios definitely has to be
I already
afraid
went
of your
through
beasts.
this part where you don't need Bestial in this matchup.
I generally agree.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think Chromac can protect himself.
He can be pretty far back, but if he's that far back, then you're threatening getting out of your own control area to do your yo-yoing.
Right.
And also, Warpath only works if the enemy you kill is in your control area, I believe.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you have to play close to his army, and therefore he can kill you. I think so. That would be something I'd watch out for. I'm not saying that we need to change your list. I'm just be aware of like stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a list chicken right there.
Yeah, moving down to trolls. I don't think Grim 2 is specifically great at the Chromac matchup because you actually stealth enough of your heavies. I think because
Right.
they still kill a lot. And what's his name? Garthakian is hard to shoot down.
Yeah, with Inviolable Resolve, only boostable guns will even hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
Really, for the most part.
Yeah.
Scorn, Hexeris 2. I don't think Hexeris 2 is particularly great against.
I thought that was a good matchup.
It is for Balder. Is it for Chromac?
Yeah.
Okay. You sound pretty confident, so I'll go with you.
I mean,
I don't think it doesn't.
it's not a great matchup, but it's playable.
It doesn't.
It's
leap out
not.
as
It's
terrible.
not like. It's not more than like. I still think it's in Chromac's favor, but I don't think it's more than like a 60-40 type of deal.
So I think it looks like your biggest scare might be either Convergence once they get some more stuff out, which should be here pretty soon, or probably Menoth.
What do you mean by more stuff from Convergence?
There isn't much that actually
Yeah,
isn't
well, I
out
guess
yet.
it's mostly pretty much out at this point. You just don't have it.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most people are.
It's
at the
hard to
point-
play 12 factions at once.
It is.
Of which I play 1 and I have 3.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up. So I think we've successfully built you a list that you can start trying out, and we might come back to it later and see if we need to change some stuff.
Yeah, I'll play it a couple times and see how it goes.
Hopefully more than that.
Yeah, more than a couple.
All right. Signing out. This has been Brandon.
this is Max.
This is Andrew.
This is Jeremy.
Goodbye. Thank you for listening to Learn to Wargame. You can find us online at l2wg.com, Facebook, twitch.tv, YouTube, or Google+, and most importantly, l2wg.com for all of our content. Thank you.
half a minute gone by.
Yeah, no, it starts at 20. Welcome to episode 2 of Learn to Wargame audio podcast. All right, now we have to start over. Are you happy about this?
We're skipping.
You're just easily
We
distracted.
lost the last episode.
No, it was half an episode. We can call it like 1.5.
Yeah, I prefer 2 still.
Okay.
right.
We just
two.
need more numbers.
No,
The
This
higher
is
we get, the
2.5.
better.
You call this 3, and then that at some point
It's
becomes
a
the
lost
lost episode.
All right.
Yeah.
With the higher the number, the better. The quicker we get to 100, the quicker we can have other people do a podcast about us.
Nice. All right. I'm going to take a brief set here, but I'm going to edit this out. So.
Gag reel.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah. No.
Why do you have
Someone took it too far.
Too far.
Too far. That's all Jeremy's there for. Also, he's the silent, disagree, too far guy. That's
Seems legit.
oh, he's a wild card.
I'm supposed to be the wild card, damn it. Okay.
Wild card, do your thing.